What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and this video is going to be super quick. I'm basically just covering these two games for the NBA TV doubleheader. For basketball yesterday, for the NBA we did well. We actually were in the profit for the NBA, specifically because we had two leg threes, which again, that just means we're putting 4 units on it. We did have a college leg three, which didn't hit. Usually they come through at a really high rate, but we missed it. But our two NBA leg threes were the Cavs to cover, just looked suspicious, and the Suns to cover. So we got both of them. Now, overall, we were around 500. We missed the Kings, missed the Magic, got the Celtics, missed the Raptors, missed the Knicks. And we went for a couple money line upsets as well. We took the Raptors as a money line upset and the Wizards. So about a break-even day. Like I said, technically in the NBA we did all right because of the leg threes, and that's why I do the system the way I do. I really try and reserve the ones that I truly believe in the most for a leg three for 4 units. The reason I go into that is we got 2 games tomorrow, and I personally like them both as leg threes for 4 units for different reasons. The first one is my old proven metrics theory. So, a fun fact, just something to keep note of. The Bucks versus the Raptors had me conflicted because the Bucks are god awful against the spread, and normally I would immediately take them. If you guys know how I do my picks, then you might have been surprised when I didn't. But the Raptors, the reason I liked the Raptors was because A, I thought the 5-point line made no sense at all, and B, I thought ESPN might have been messing with us because they actually went out of their way to say how the Bucks were horrible against the spread. Now, I noticed they've been doing that a lot this year. They had an article out yesterday. Had you faded the Clippers every game since they got Harden, you would have turned 100 into 5,000. And then right under there they have, if you have a gambling problem, please call this number. So it's almost fun. It's sad, actually, but you can kind of see what they're doing. They try and bait people by specifically telling people this is what would have happened if you took this game. You could have won this much money. This team would have made you this much. And then they say, if you have a problem, please, we want to be the first ones to help. But I'm probably just going to disregard these articles because I made the same mistake when Nick Wright came out a few weeks ago, about a month ago, and he said, a certain team is going to lose because the Vegas line makes no sense. So I'm fading that team because it's a trap. That was his logic. So when I hear things like that, I think, okay, well, if this guy is saying that it's a Vegas trap on TV, then I doubt they're going to show that they're actually going to follow through on it, because then people are going to wonder how scripted it might be. Anyway, so a lot of times I'll think too much into it when I see an article or a pundit on ESPN or a pundit on one of the shows say something that has to do with Vegas, has to do with the spreads. Sometimes I just immediately think, not to do the opposite, but there's a reason for it. So going forward with the spreads, I'm not even going to pay any attention to what I see from the pundits as far as, this team is doing terrible against the spread. Because like I said, I'm sure they have motives for putting out all these different articles, but I just assumed, and I'm thinking it's more just because gambling is becoming so normal now, normalized, I should say, that they just feel like it's normal to put out articles like, this is how much this guy would have won you, this is how much this team would win, man, this team, it's a Vegas trap, you should avoid them. I'm guessing that's just now common talk in the NBA. So if I see stuff like that, I'm not really going to read too much into it going forward. I did a few times and it didn't really work out. Like I said, when Nick Wright said this game's a Vegas trap, I did not think he would say that, and then they would actually have the trap exposed on TV. So I faded that, didn't work out, and this is the second time I kind of let an article get the best of me. With the Raptors, there was only a leg too, it was nothing crazy, but when I saw ESPN point out, ever since the first game, the Bucks they haven't won against the spread. Meanwhile, there's other teams that have done terrible against the spread or really good against the spread, like the Nets here, who are 9-1. against the spread. I think they're 9-1 or 10-1, 9-1-1, something like that. I find it odd. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go against my normal metric theory and fade the Bucks, which obviously did not work out. So anyway, no more of that. I like the Heat to cover 9-1 against the spread, or the Nets, or 9-1-1, or 10-1. And while people aren't expecting them to have such a great year, the Nets, as well as the fact that I went into this before, the Nets and the Sixers. Just, I think because they have, lost superstars. A lot of people are looking at them and saying, "Oh, they're not. Nothing's going to happen with them." And I had gone into earlier. I think Bridges is going to be pushed as the next Kawhi. He really reminds me of him, the way he plays. Started off as a defensive, menace. He was really good. That two-way wing type of deal. Now, he can hit the threes. And now he's becoming one of the primary scoring options. He's actually been one of the primary scoring options. So I think they're going to give Bridges like the Kawhi treatment. Meaning, there's no reason this team shouldn't be a good team now. The Heat, I don't have having the year they had last year. I just don't. I think they'll basically have the year they had last year, but they won't even come close in the postseason. That's just my theory. I could be wrong, of course. But looking at everything again, the spread is very suspicious. It's not the spread suspicious. It's the fact that the Nets are so good against the spread. Makes me like the Heat to cover. So that's going to be a leg 3 for 4 units. Okay, so we don't have a lot of plays tomorrow, but we do have the ones we are playing are going to be leg 3s because I like them both a lot. So yeah, I like the Heat to cover the Nets here at home. And again, I have both these teams not doing anything crazy this year, but I don't have them doing awfully bad either. I think the Heat compared to last year are going to have a pretty rough year. They're on a nice little win streak, as you can see. But I think they're going to be streaky in general this year. Look at the injuries, nothing crazy. So I would think you might say, oh, well, more people might be on the Heat. That could be the case. But again, I'm just sticking with my spread metrics because they have worked so well. Now this second game of the doubleheader to me is a very suspicious line. Now you might say this line looks perfectly normal. These are two evenly matched teams. Albeit the Warriors might be a little bit better, and they're at home. But it's two evenly matched teams. And when you look at it, when you don't have Steph or Dre, and it was a 2-point game the first time these guys played, Warriors won by 2, it was in Oklahoma City. They're at home now, so obviously that's going to help. But without Steph and Dre, for it to be a 2.5-point spread makes no sense at all to me. For them to be favorites, the Thunder, makes sense, but I think they should be bigger favorites, even in Golden State. Again, I don't understand the line here. I don't think a 2-point spread makes sense when you're down your best guy, and in my opinion, your second best guy. I think as far as if you watch the game, like who is, it's all rigged and scripted, but who's pushed as the guy who's a bigger deal, difference maker. I would say that's Dre now, way before Clay. I think Clay fell off years ago. He still has games and stuff, but he's not that guy he used to be. That great defender, that awesome shooter. So, like, losing Dre and Steph, I think the public is going to be slamming the Thunder, who are on a little bit of a winning streak. And you can see the Warriors are on a losing streak. So, I don't see why people would... Now, this might be a narrative where it's like, oh, the Warriors are they going to continue to lose at home where they used to be so good? The team's kind of falling apart. First they traded Poole, now Dre's choking out people like Latrell Sprewell, like Homer Simpson and Bart. So I just don't think that they're going to pull that trigger as far as, say that the team's imploding. Maybe down the road, but this is a NBA doubleheader of a very interesting rivalry. So, in my opinion, they're going to at least make these games close. So I personally love the Warriors, and I love them with the points, just because I could see this being a 1-point game, a 2-point game. So my pick for this one is going to be the Warriors to cover the 2.5. Now, one thing I've been running into is I'll put out sometimes I try and put them out, as close as I can to the games. On some days it's tougher because we have a couple videos I got to do. I got to do a football video still. But my point is, this could move to 5 points. This could move to even. I mean, the way some of these lines have moved, it's tough because I'll have a team covering a 5 point spread, and then the game starts and a guy is ruled out last minute, and that 5 point spread's now an 8 point spread, 9 point spread. So I want to look into that. Luckily, it hasn't really happened too much this year, and when it has, it hasn't made much of a difference. What I mean by that is, I can't find really any that I've picked a game, the spread moved a ton, and then we missed it, but we would have got the original spread. Hasn't really happened as much as I thought it would this year. If it starts happening, obviously, then I can find that the best way possible. I mean, the best way I can essentially do it would be just saying if you want to wait till 2 minutes before the game, because it's still going to be the same team I have covering. Because when I pick my covers, it's because of metrics. So I don't want to ramble too much. I just wanted to cover a few of the reasons that why I'm going with certain teams going forward. And I wanted to go into the Raptors Bucks because that's a perfect example of if over analyzing, in my opinion. Very simple. Bucks have the metric, just like the Heat do. That's why we have the Heat tonight. But kind of overthought it a little bit and wound up going Raptors. So with a lot of these games, that's easy to do. So that's something I try and avoid if I notice I'm doing it. And again, that's the only reason I did not make that a leg 3 for 4 units. I made it a leg 2. So luckily we did that. So for leg 3, again, which means we're just doubling up 4 units. For that loss, we're going to be going with the Heat to cover. And we had a couple other leg 2s that lost, obviously. We had the Mavericks play. Mavericks play might have been a leg 1. I can't quite remember. I know the Lakers were a leg 2. We had the Lakers beating the Kings, covering the Kings, so that one lost. So we'll plug this one in as a leg 3 as well. Warriors cover. So both the Warriors cover the Thunder and the Heat cover the Nets are both going to be leg 3s for 4 units. So not a lot of plays, just the 2, but a lot of units in play. Obviously, I'd say I would love to split these 2, but honestly, I want to get them both. I really want to get them both. I want to just do a 2-0, 8-unit profit, simple as that, because we split so many of these doubleheaders. I mean, I think, gosh, of all the ones we've played, I think we've split them all except one. So we've gone 1-1 like every time there's been a doubleheader, and the one time we didn't, we went 0-2. So we might have gone 2-0 once, but I'd like to see a little bit of a run going on. Last year, there was a point in the season where we were just nailing all the doubleheaders. More often than not, we were getting both of them. So I want to get back to those winning ways. So yeah, first game because of metrics and metrics only, Heat cover Nets. This game here because of suspicious lines and suspicious lines only, I got the Warriors here to cover the 2.5 points. I'll be going into the Thursday night game, so technically tonight's game, and like I said, I'll be doing more trying to cover